Good afternoon and welcome to Scottish Rugby TV Live. I'm delighted to say we're joined by the new Scotland head coach Gregor Townsend. Gregor, congratulations first of all.
Thank you.
Today you've announced your squad for the 2017 summer tour. How interesting a process was it to put those 34 names down on paper?
Yeah, it's always an exciting part of the process as coaches when you're selecting a team for the weekend or you're selecting a squad. So over the last few weeks we've looked at a lot of players, and certain coaches have looked at more in depth the players around those positions. So we've been able to see not just from how they played but the stats, and obviously leaving the announcement and the selection till after the 1872 Cup game gave a number of players an opportunity at the weekend, and it is a strong squad. We've left a few people out that could easily have merited selection and are quality players.
Well, let's look at some of the combinations that you've chosen within that squad. And Scotland's had a proud history when it comes to back row forwards. How excited are you to be working with a unit which includes Hamish Watson, John Barclay, Ryan Wilson, amongst others?
Yeah, well, the back row is really strong because they're all available. No one's on the Lions tour and all our players are back fit, so it's great to have someone like Josh Strauss, John Hardy, who've missed the last few weeks, Magnus Bradbury, back fit for tour. The three guys you mentioned, Ryan Wilson, Hamish Watson, John Barclay, all played very well in this year's Six Nations, and they combined well, and that's part of the selection. We're looking for back rows that are able to take the game to the opposition, to work very hard, to be good in defence and attack, and we'll be looking, once we get the three that are going to start against Italy, for a good blend there. And
a lot of leadership. I know John Barclay obviously has been the captain and will be the captain, but leadership right through that back row as well.
Yeah, there are. Ryan Wilson's been captain of Glasgow, Josh Strauss likewise captain of Glasgow, and even though the others might not have been captains, they've been leaders by the way they've played, and you're looking for that. And it's also an experienced bunch in the main, with people like Hamish and Magnus coming through over the last couple of seasons.
At hooker, you've got the experience and the multitude of caps that Ross Ford has, and then you've got George Turner, who's as yet uncapped. What does a player like George get from the tour? When you think back to when you first toured with Scotland, or when you were making your way with the Scotland team, what do you learn from these kind of tours?
Well, you learn about Test match rugby. You learn of the players you're training alongside. You pick up from training how they go about and do their jobs, how they look after themselves off the field, how they approach the Test matches. These are Test match animals that thrive in those big occasions. But really the main thing is about grabbing your opportunity. George has been selected on merit. He's played the last few weeks really well for Edinburgh. He brings aggression, speed. He's able to play a real attacking game as well, be a linking player. So him and the other 33 that have been chosen have to go out and grab that opportunity.
Congratulations to Greg Laidlaw. He's going with the Lions party. Like the back row, Scotland scrum halves have, again, another proud history when it comes to scrum halves. You've got three scrum halves in the squad who have differing abilities. How do you kind of sum those guys up?
Yeah, well, Ali's had a great season, a great couple of seasons, and his work rate stands him out for how he's achieved success this year. He has constant energy, getting to lots of breakdowns, taking on the opposition with ball in hand, and a very good passing game. Henry's another player who's experienced, can play that high tempo game, got one of the best kicking games in European rugby too. So yeah, they've been in really good form. Sam, we've been watching him and a number of the nines, and with Greg not being selected, this is an opportunity for him. I liked his edge that he brought to the game at the weekend. Sam has played international rugby before, and we're seeing him getting back to that level, but now he's got this opportunity to again work hard and improve out on tour. We were lucky we've got Mike Blair as one of the coaches, and he'll be working very closely with the nines. But I have to say there's a number of really good nines that didn't get selected. Sean Kennedy, Nathan Fowles, Scott Steele's been going really well down at London Irish, so we're in a good position with the nines that are coming through, and obviously we wish Greg all the best with the Lions.
Let's look ahead to the games themselves, and the first game is in Singapore, and Scotland face Italy. Recent history for Scotland against Italy has been good. They feel as though they're a team in transition at the moment, Italy. What do you expect, given it's a neutral venue, what do you expect from them in that game?
Well, I think they'll be well prepared. Most of the players will be going into camp now. Zebra and Treviso, like Edinburgh, Glasgow, are not playing playoff games. So Conor O'Shea and his coaching team will get a 3-week period to prepare his team as best they can for 3 test matches. And that'll be the first time he's had that. So we'll definitely see them more aligned to the way Conor wants them to play. And while it was a disappointing Six Nations for Italy, in the November test they had a terrific performance against South Africa and got a win. And maybe they'll be trying new things, being away from that Six Nations atmosphere. And I believe they'll be a tough team. They're always strong in the set piece. They're a physical side in the contact and the defence, and with Conor and Mike Catt there, they'll be opening up their attack even more.
Australians have got long memories when it comes to sport. 2012, Newcastle, New South Wales. Greg slots a penalty over to make it 9-6. Australia won't have forgotten that. And the games recently, World Cup, Autumn Test, they've been very close. How does Scotland have to play against a team like Australia? How do you prepare for a team like Australia?
Well, you're expecting them to play open rugby, to play the ball outside of 10 as much as possible. They're a team that, out of all the international teams, I would say, try and go through multi-phase. Kicking is not their first option. And when they do kick, it's about winning the ball back rather than giving opposition ball to play with. So we've got to be really strong defensively. We've got to be able to slow down their ball, and that's something that Scotland's done well over the last 2 or 3 occasions playing against them. We've got to make sure we're strong in set-piece defence, not just in terms of set-piece when the forwards are up against each other, but how we defend the intricate plays they like to play. And we've got to take them on. There've been some cracking games over the last couple of years. Scotland against Australia, November in the World Cup were the 2 games that stand out. And we saw a Scotland team then really attacking Australia, and we should get good conditions out in Sydney to do that.
The last game is against Fiji in Suva. You've coached Fijian players. You know what they're capable of. How do you prepare for this? Sounds silly, but do you prepare for the unexpected?
Yes, and look, the unexpected you can control by being accurate. Where the Fijian players are very good is where it gets unstructured. I'd like to think that's where the Scotland players get very good too. When counter-attack, turnover ball, after a number of phases you might not have the same defensive line. The Fijians will be very, very dangerous there. They're brought up in sevens rugby. They're brought up in moving defenders around, supporting the ball carrier. At home they'll be in their element. They will want to run it from everywhere at times. But they've also improved their set piece over the last few years. The Fijian scrum during the World Cup was one of the best scrums in the tournament, and that's a credit to their coaching staff. So that'll be a very tough test match. It'll be a really tough test match to play them at Murrayfield. To play them in Fiji adds more challenges, but it'll be a great experience for our group. 3
names are not on the list, and that's Greg, Stuart and Tommy, who are all on the Lions tour. You're a Lion. I mean, what do you hope they get from that tour?
Well, I hope they play test rugby. I hope they play to their potential, enjoy the experience of being a Lions tour. It will be brilliant out in New Zealand, the amount of supporters that's going out there. And there's 2 elements to it. I think going to tour in New Zealand, and I'm not sure if either of them have been to New Zealand before, is a great experience. You are immersed in the best rugby culture there is on the planet, so you're going to learn about the game more. You're going to be playing some very good players. So there's that element. The other element is obviously getting in that test team, and it's brilliant that we've got 3 players on that trip. And as soon as they go into camp, they'll be working really hard to make sure they're in with a chance of getting the test team. And any games they play leading up to the tests, they're going to give it everything.
Finally, we asked for a question from the fans, and this is from David Hughes on Facebook. What young players do you think can make an impact for Scotland?
Well, it's a reasonably young team, so there's a number of young players there that can grab their opportunity this summer. I think looking at the uncapped players, George Turner has built up some really good momentum, and his fitness and speed could be a real asset on this tour. Darcy Ray has been consistent for Glasgow this year, and he's continually learning, so if he gets an opportunity to play, we're confident he'll go and take it. And Nick Grigg, who's had a brilliant season, has really earned his selection in the Scotland squad. He's been a revelation in the last few months in terms of his tackle breaks and line breaks and the dominance he's putting into the tackle. So no, he'll be very close to a starting spot, and he's got to go on the tour with that mindset.
Gregor, thanks for joining us on Scottish Rugby TV Live, and good luck for the future.
Thank you.